Typically, when a person gets an implant, the dentist would have explained him the process of going through an implant and the pros and cons. One thing that must be kept in mind, as per evidence or evidence-based, implant is, as per whatever that is given in the journals, is around 97 to 98% successful. You don't get 100% in an implant success rate in an implant. Though there might be practices wherein they don't have any failure, but still, whatever collectively all around the world, there is a 2% failure. In case there is a failure, just letting you know for information in the beginning itself, in case there is a failure, the implant is removed out, the loose implant is removed out, and the area is curated and allowed to heal, and one more implant is placed. Usually the dentist does it free of cost. And if there is a failure happens in the initial processes, in the initial period. So it is not going to fail once the integration has happened, provided maintenance has been done by the patient. Maintenance is regular cleaning and keeping the area clean, avoiding smoking, especially in that front area. So these are a few predisposing factors which tend to cause bone loss around the implant and cause loosening of the implant. Now coming back to the question at hand, that is regarding the process for placing an implant. Let me take, say, one area, lower front area or a lower back area. Local anesthesia injection is given. Typically in the lower tooth, the local anesthesia that is given is an infiltration anesthesia. It is not a mandibular nerve block. Though some dentists might want to give a mandibular nerve block, now more and more people are, more and more dentists are focused towards giving an infiltration for the lower also. Because as we go closer to the nerve, the patient says, "You are close to my nerve, so don't get into that area." So a small local anesthesia is given, the area is numbed, and there are drill bits which are capable of doing the exact kind of work that the implant wants. So we place a drill bit which is about 2 millimeters as the initial part, and then we place subsequent drill bit. Now let us say we are placing a 5 millimeter implant which is going to go inside. The implant, if you can see, is placed inside. So if you are going to place a 5 millimeter implant, then a 4.5 mm drill is used as the last drill, and the implant is put in place. Then the suture is placed on top of it. The tissue is put back, the suture is placed on top of it. A week after that, the suture is removed out. So this is typically how the implant is placed. And then in the lower jaw, the protocol for the lower jaw states that you leave it for a period of 3 months, wherein the implant becomes one with the bone, what we call as osseointegration. You want the bone to fuse around the implant and allow the implant to be one, and totally it is integrated to the bone. Once it is integrated, whatever that is done, the implant will not separate itself from the bone, unless of course there is some infection happening. So that the patient has to take care of it. So in the lower jaw, the protocol is to leave it for a period of 3 months. In the upper jaw, the protocol is to leave it for a period of 6 months. Though immediate loading is being done, and we do immediate loading, but the immediate loading, the important thing is, when we place an implant against the bone, we do not want the implant to move against the bone. When you place an implant and load that implant with the tooth on top of it, there is a tendency for the implant to move. So this movement does not allow the surrounding bone to integrate or go into the implant. Because of this, the implant can fail. So when the immediate loading is done, typically the dentist does not keep the tooth in contact with the opposing tooth, so that there is no interference on the implant and primary stability is maintained. So immediately the loading can be done in a few cases, though it is not indicated in all cases. So this is the typical process of placing an implant in a layman's terminology.